It's a great honor to have Jody Lynn Solomon, the Executive Director for Camp Lilac, here as our speaker this evening. Jody Lynn has extensive experience in both formal and informal education adventures, a master's in education, and is licensed from pre-K through 12th grade. She teaches middle school in East Cleveland, and she spends her summers at Camp Lilac, which she will tell us about this evening. She's been a member of a trans family for several years and is a proud parent of 2 trans children. She was also named a difference maker by the CJN in 2020 and one of the most interesting people in Cleveland by Cleveland Magazine. We're honored to have you to share your passion about equality and supporting people in their mission to be their best selves.
He forgot short. As I was preparing to come this evening, I wrote in my head and on paper several different versions of what I wanted to say to you. Some people like the statistics version to try to pull heartstrings. That doesn't usually do it for me, but I thought about it. Some people do, there's also all sorts of different ways to approach this. I did a little bit of everything, and I hope it's coherent. We'll see how it goes. First of all, Shabbat Shalom. I'm Jody Lynn Solomon. I'm, among other things, a Jewish educator, director of Camp Lilac, a librarian, and a parent, in reverse order. On your website for the synagogue are the words, social action through tikkun olam, above the quote from Pirkei Avot that says, "It is not up to you to finish the work, yet you are not free to avoid it." Judaism is about learning and doing in the world. We must learn and do. For me, doing is supporting, affirming, and advocating for the rights, for the lives of others, especially those in the LGBTQIA+ community. Specifically, I work with and for transgender and gender diverse individuals. Why do I do this? Because it is necessary and I love the community. Why is it necessary? Now more than ever, trans and gender diverse people, especially youth, are under attack. It's not a hyperbole. In several states, laws have passed making it a crime to provide gender-affirming care to people under 18. Our own state government has similar bills that are being debated right now. Medical care, like hormone blockers that are a pause button on puberty. Mental health care, so necessary to process not only a person's path to understanding themselves, but to manage the feelings generated by the haters around them, such as students, teachers, parents, and others in the space of daily life. I could stand up here and quote you statistics such as the fact that having one supportive or affirming adult in the life of a trans youth reduces a trans youth's likelihood of suicide by 40%. Or the numbers of trans people who have been murdered each year, including one trans woman murdered by her father, but that's never as effective as a story. We're people of the book, actually, after all. Both of my children are part of the trans community. I won the lottery twice. We like to travel and drive long distances. Once we were going to Florida on a path that took us through North Carolina. Before we crossed the border, we all went to the bathroom, then drove efficiently directly through North Carolina and did not stop until we got to South Carolina, where we immediately stopped and went to the bathroom. In case you didn't know, it was illegal for a person to go into a bathroom that didn't match their genitalia. A person could be challenged on this and arrested. I couldn't send my young teen daughter into a men's room. She wouldn't be safe. This continues to be a problem. The safest place for a trans or non-binary person to go to the restroom is in a gender-neutral, single-serving one. Like the family one that they have in some places. You didn't know this was going to be a bathroom talk, did you? Here's your first assignment. I'm a teacher. Should you choose to do it. Any public place that has bathrooms, but not a gender-neutral private one, ask why not, and how the place plans to serve the needs of patrons who need it, and follow up. Story number 2 is about me making a bad mom choice and how we need to avoid the problem. When my daughter came out to us just before her B'nai Mitzvah, of course, ask me about that later, it was several months before we went to a doctor about it. By then, she was 3/4 of the way through puberty, so we put her on blockers immediately. Shortly thereafter, she should have gone on estrogen, but I really wanted grandchildren and freaked out. Skip to now, she is a math major at BU, beautiful, fine, and I think forgives me, but it did affect her a great deal. It's very important to her mental and physical health that she has the mental and medical and mental health support in her transition. There are bills before the Ohio legislature that seek to make it a crime here in Ohio, too, for parents, doctors, therapists, even teachers to support a trans or non-binary youth. Remember that statistic about the supportive and affirming adult making such a huge difference? One of the bills makes it a crime for a teacher to be that trusted adult. And as a teacher, I know that I have been that trusted adult before, and I would definitely lose my license and go to jail. Your second assignment, write and call your representatives and tell them that you support gender-affirming medical and mental health care for trans youth. But the Bible says LGBT individuals are an abomination and your gender is what God made you, male or female, according to the doctor. You may hear this. I have 2 lines of thought for these folks, and I'm giving them to you. The Talmud, which almost was a topic of my whole talk, and a good deal of other Jewish texts, recognizes at least 6 genders. They, in brief, are, excuse me, an androgynous one that is both or neither gender, tumtum, which is sometimes one or sometimes the other, zechar, which comes from the word for pointy, so that's typically male, nikeva, which comes from the word for crevice, which is typically female, ilonit, which is identified female at birth but develops male characteristics at or after puberty, and saris, which is a person identified as male at birth but develops female characteristics, and there's saris chama, which is naturally occurring, or saris adam, which is through medical intervention. So the Talmud recognized at least 6. Trans people are in the Talmud. There's also discussion outside of these texts, and in fact, there's commentary that goes on to recognize 8. The second thing I would like to share comes from this week's Parsha. Not the one you chose. Also not the one that you were looking at, so, you know. Many who oppress the LGBTQIA community point to a biblical verse or 2 that must be upheld. This week's Parsha gives us laws of the same weight to be upheld. In Kitetse, we learn about how to treat others, captives of war, widows, offspring, lost animals, even lost animals of our enemies. It says, if a man has a wayward and rebellious son who does not obey his parents, and they chasten him, and he still does not listen to them, know anyone like that? His parent will physically bring him to the elders at the gates of the city, tell them of their son's ways, and the men of the city will pelt him to death with stones. So shall you clear out evil from among you, Deuteronomy 18-21. Other passages prohibit eating bacon and shellfish. And so your third assignment, you didn't know you'd get homework. If people start talking Bible and sins at you, stay calm. Politely and kindly ask how they decide which laws to uphold. Then ask if they eat shrimp or bacon, or if they have stoned their disobedient or disrespectful child to death recently. There are many laws we have in modern times that we find we're needing to re-examine or reinterpret. It's time for some of those quoted by haters to go. Be supportive and affirming of all humans. Some trans and non-binary do's and don'ts. Do ask everyone's pronouns. Make it the norm. Do use the name and pronouns you're told. Do practice if using the correct name and pronouns is challenging to you. When I meet a parent who's having a hard time with that, I suggest that when their child is not home, they say out loud to themselves the name and pronouns using sentences, because practicing helps. Don't ask about surgery or other medical transitions. You wouldn't want someone talking about what's in your pants. Do give what you can to organizations serving LGBT folk. Don't ask for someone's story, but do listen with your whole self if someone chooses to honor you with it. Do open your home for a meal or a place to stay. There's an inordinate number of trans youth and non-binary youth that are on the streets because their homes are not a safe place for them to be. Do be supportive and affirming and non-judgmental. Do your research. Get familiar with the Trevor Project, Trans Ohio and Camp Lilac, and consider links on your social advocacy page. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.